Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's been several weeks, and as I said, I'm studying prayer, and instead of just presenting a dry presentation about the history of prayer, I thought it would be cool to kind of prayerfully go through it together. So today I have a list that I'm saying is 13 ways parents should teach children about God, but the truth is this: I can't tell anybody else how to be a spouse or a parent. What I can do is share some things I've done in the Christian life that I think have worked and have value. You'll hear me say things like I and me instead of you, and telling you what you should do. First up, I pray that God would be present in my home. Now throughout the day, you have a running commentary with God. Lots of us do. But once a day I'm on my knees, usually bedtime, only for a few moments. It really represents true humility. Number two, I pray that God would teach me and give me the tools to teach my children. Good parenting isn't luck, and parents are never prepared to do the job well. We have to learn as we go, and we have to grow. We have to grow fast in ways mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical, and we don't have time to think about how we've grown before we have to grow into a new area. Number three, I pray that God would guide the matters in my household: marital, financial, parenting, social. If you were the leader of a country, you would not make decisions without consulting the smartest people around you. By avoiding making immediate decisions, we are giving God time to work in our lives. Remember, they'll only do it if they see me doing it. It's hard. And do as I say, not as I do, in my opinion, doesn't work. It leads to rebellion that parents aren't prepared for. Number four, have I taught my children to pray each day and showed them why? Training them that that period of time, once a day, is carved out for prayer and nothing else. Number six, have my children caught me in secret prayer? I suppose set up prayer too could have some effect, but have your children, your spouse, seen you seeking God for answers to things? Number seven, have I prayed with my spouse out loud on our knees? It is amazing how hard this is to do, even for those who are willing to do it and do. It doesn't happen near enough, I confess to that, but it should. That's one of the ways we raise good kids. Remember, they'll only do what they see us doing. It's hard. So I need God to be in control. Then I'm playing my part, and my children are playing a part, and we're all growing in faith. Number eight, do they see me reading my Bible? Do they know that I have a Bible? Do they know what it looks like, the one that I most commonly use? Do they see me reading anything else? Well, yes. I try to read a lot of different things. But sometimes I like to read classics, Plato's Republic. I think that we have a responsibility to read literature. If we don't, we'll lose it in just a few generations. Some surveys of the Old Testament, all kinds of different stuff. I'm doing the works of Bonaventure right now. So yeah, reading a lot of different stuff. Do I teach them lessons about morality in the events of day-to-day life? Number 10. Do I teach my children lessons about morality in the events of day-to-day life? Yes, we have to do that. So you're outside building something and your child is there, and you give your child the chance to participate with you, and you communicate and teach some lesson about morals. Yes. Number 11. Do I give them chances to use the skills I've taught them? My children, even young. Wow, that requires some awareness of self, doesn't it? Are we giving our children a chance to demonstrate the values that we're teaching them? Number 12, do I have basic children's Bibles around the house at my child's reading level? We gotta get one. We don't have to burden them with theology and doctrines. They'll learn that later, but for now, they must learn the basic narratives contained in the Bible. This particular one was used with all three of my children, but my son, he didn't get anything at first, except he knew the story about the sneaky snake. And then, in the next one, The next level Bible, he got a little more detail. The book's trying to be very careful, and it just says in the beginning was only God. God made the whole world. Very simple statements as a good second. And as they get older, the Bibles get more complex, and until they finally are able to read the real one, which they should have interaction with the whole time anyway. I think this might even be the most important, number 13. Who am I when nobody is looking? This is perhaps when things matter the most, when it's only God that can see what I'm doing. I believe that teaching children about God is a team effort between the parents and God, and the grandparents and the friends and the teachers. They are not my children's primary teacher. They are my partner. Parents delegate certain authority, right? Now this awareness is discovered through prayer, the kind of prayer that demands like true humility, like smallness. The lesson today isn't to point out how we fail. It's designed to give us the tools we need to teach our children about God in a truthful way that works and is lasting, maybe even everlasting. A few other interesting things going on. I pointed to it earlier, Plato's Republic. I recommend reading this. So far the experience is cool. What I like about it is it's written out like scripts, like conversations between people, and there'll be a topic like justice. And it talks about justice through this weaving conversation of these individuals, and it's quite good. This book that belonged to my grandparents, I found an interesting thing about husbands that I have been reflecting on. It says, what are the special duties of a husband? The special duties of a husband are to exercise his God-given authority with love, kindness, and respect toward his wife and toward his children. It gives Ephesians 5:25, Colossians 3:21. I think that's pretty good. Hard to live up to. So yeah, I'll take it. I mean, that's a challenge that continues to grow. Yeah, after studying the 13, I found on the back of this little card here a wonderful prayer too. Make me aware of the need to pray to you. I need to pray once a day. God, remind me of the necessity to pray to you in all things. That's powerful. Powerful like a battleship. I'm in the middle of building a model with my son, and so far we've built the deck of a battleship. We have cannons all over it. And it's interesting because doing this model, I've been thinking to myself, wow, the directions of this ship have you start building the ship with cannons. When in reality, the ship is laid, you lay the keel first. But isn't it such an interesting analogy about humanity that yes, we would probably build the ship around the guns if we could. It's a tragedy, but fine detailed work there doing that. Oh yeah, Halloween's coming, isn't it? Always a controversial subject. Oh, Halloween, do we celebrate it? Don't we celebrate it? It's different from family to family. Paul talks about this, and the analogy that's best is if you give up McDonald's cheeseburgers as a special sacrifice to God for yourself and your spiritual development in your private life, that is great. But then you can't turn around and judge everyone else for eating those cheeseburgers, you know? Paul's very clear about this. So I think this little booklet here kind of tries to teach you how to do Halloween things in a fun Christian way. Obviously for Protestants we have Reformation Day, and then we have All Saints Day. It's the season of these various church holidays. Have a crossword in here, you know, as little activities you can do, a little book. Right, that's not as exciting as candy and trick-or-treating though, right? And it's like, hey, you gotta live. Life is experienced through the senses. This is a hard debate. I get both sides, and I don't envy the decision anyone else has to make, for sure. What else did I want to share? Oh, yes, this clock here was a gift from somebody who was a mentor of mine for a very long time. And there's a plaque on this that says, "Success is born of time well spent." As a much younger man, in a more sinful time, just kidding, I got that tattooed on my arm. You know, I figured, yeah, if I'm going to get a tattoo, I want it to say something about me if someone comes across me, So it says, success is born of time well spent. And I think that can be true in prayer. We can be successful in prayer the more time we spend doing it. We can be successful in reading scripture the more time we spend doing it. What I wish we said to each other when we encountered each other on the street: what religion are you? I practice Christianity. Because that's the truth. We're only ever practicing the faith, meaning it never gets perfect. And it won't, because there's no need for perfection. We have perfection in Jesus Christ. He is the acceptable sacrifice. There's nothing we're going to do to get there without Jesus. Last thing I want to do today, two things. This was my grandfather's tie, and I'm wearing it today to honor him. He meant a lot to me, and he passed away in April of 2016, and I'd be remiss if I didn't note that his eldest son also that year, several months later. God's ways are truly mysterious, but both were great men. And in this case, my grandfather's tie, I try to wear it to honor him from time to time. It's nice to have wisdom from the past, because when we have wisdom from the past, we can better prepare ourselves for the future. I think the internet deceives us into thinking we have all the knowledge at our fingertips, but we need books. We need libraries with physical books, because if not, who's ever going to be able to pick this up and read it? We have to be able to pick things up and read them. Most of all with our faith. Ending with the last thing. This book is called Shipwrecked in the Land of King Tobacco. It is about the First Washington Family Immigrant to America. I wrote it over 5 years, put it aside for a year, brought it back out, and put more work in on it. The narrative itself is roughly 430 pages, and the entire back part of the book is bibliography. I really, nobody had written about George Washington's ancestors, really. You often would see a paragraph here or there in most of the major Washington books, but I really wanted to flesh out everything I could from the records, which are now voluminous, but they are disorganized and not a lot is known. What emerged is a narrative about George's great-grandfather John, who ended up in the Virginia colony. He was a merchant trader, a global merchant trader, and he ended up shipwrecked in Podunk, Virginia. Ended up falling in love there, marrying there, building a life there, and leaving the legacy of the Washingtons there. He was a pivotal military figure during Bacon's Rebellion, and he was in the country 150 years before the birth of the United States of America. And this book tells that story. You can get it on Amazon.com/author/Nicholasdgarrett. Thank you all. God bless you. And may your work today bear fruit. Thanks.